Okay, so Donald Trump's big issue right now is affordability, where he won in 2024 because of mass inflation that happened in the Biden administration, and now Donald Trump's legacy is banked on the idea that he can get prices to go down. But the problem is a lot of the solutions he has are just not really good, and they feel more like he's putting lipstick on a pig. And now he's a new one that he's definitely really wrong on: enter the 50-year mortgage. Explain that we got to go into the history of the 30-year mortgage because before FDR was president, mortgages weren't actually 30 years. They were about 3 to 5 years where people would pay the interest at the end. And from that, America had about a 44% home ownership rate among the people. Now, FDR introduced the 30-year mortgage, and things did apparently get better, where by 1960, we had about a 60% home ownership rate, and today it's 66%. A lot of people want to praise FDR and the 30-year mortgage, saying it made housing more accessible. They are forgetting a lot of facts, with one big example being the GI Bill, where after World War II, they built 4 million houses for veterans to live in and also gave these very, very affordable mortgage loans, which contributed to about half of the growth of housing. There's also just a lot of people who don't factor in immigrants and the impact of statistics on housing, because in 1924, Calvin Coolidge became the first president to put a quote on the amount of immigration, where for 20 years before, America had this massive immigrant boom, taking in about 1 million people every single year, and 15% of the country was immigrant. But then after that, it drops to about 100,000 to 200,000 people a year. So because there were fewer immigrants living in apartments, more of the immigrants that came eventually gained money and bought their own house, which was also a factor as well. And then people are also forgetting, with FDR and the 30-year mortgage, the prices of homes did go up. In 1928, the median price for a home was $3,800, which would be $75,000 today, and it was around that price for 40 years. But then after the 30-year mortgage, things go up, where just 10 years later, it was about $95,000 in today's money. And then by 1970, it was $175,000. And really looking at it, the reason was just because the 30-year mortgage made it so people didn't have to worry about paying as much up front, so the price of house long-term can be up more. Now cut to 2025, the median price of a new home being sold is $411,000, and Donald Trump is saying that's way too high in monthly payments for anyone to afford, so the best solution is a 50-year mortgage. But you know what? It's just going to raise prices long term. The reason we're going to prove that the 50-year mortgage is not a good idea is we're going to make a comparison with interest rates. In January of 2021, when Joe Biden took office, the median price for a house was $304,000. That year, interest rates got lowered to 2.3%, the lowest in the United States history. By the end of that year, December of 2021, the median price of a home was $358,000, meaning the price of a home nearly went up 20% in 1 year. And guess what? It was because of those lowered interest rates. Let's also go to 1983, the year the highest interest rates ever in American history at 18%, with Ronald Reagan as president and Volcker as the Fed chair. And the result of that was housing prices actually went down 15% because interest rates went up. And that is why Donald Trump's plan for a 50-year mortgage is really, really bad, because prices on houses aren't just going to go up. And even though people might pay a bit less month to month, they're going to end up paying much more long term, which is bad for their savings. And with that, I'm Charles Parle, Red Blue News. Subscribe to learn something.